This video was made possible by EA Game Changers. Hey everyone, Brazen Lotus here. This video I'm going to be doing a speed build. I got an early access code for Eco Lifestyle from the Game Changer program, and I decided I was going to do something a little bit different. So I really like to build. Don't usually do speed builds, but we'll see how this goes. This lot, you're going to be able to find it on the gallery. I'll go ahead and leave my ID in the description below, and I may upload it to my site as well. If I do, I'll leave a link for that in there as well. This neighborhood that I'm building in is called Port Promise, and it's an old, industrial port. And I love the look of it, so that's where I wanted to kind of start to build. And this lot already had a shipping container home on it already. That's a thing, by the way. We have shipping container walls and floors and ceilings now, or roofs, I guess. So I was really excited about that. Couldn't wait to start building. And this lot was kind of under decorated. It was just really, really simple. A lot of the lots are very, very simple. But I think it's because we have new community lots, which have like 3 lots in one. So those are pretty cool. But anyway, this build, like I said, originally the shipping container home was there, and it was just like one container, and it was okay, but I wanted something that was bigger and I don't know, looked a little bit greener. So my goal for this build was obviously industrial, because we've got the shipping container walls and stuff going on, but also I wanted it to be a little bit modern and green. So I started out with the containers. I stacked them. I saw, actually, if I can find the link, I'll put it in the description, but I saw a house online that it looked really cool. It had the one shipping container at the bottom, and then that second floor was actually held up by the shipping container and some columns, which we have some new ones. You'll see them here in a moment. And then the other shipping containers were kind of stacked on that, and it was like a 3-story. So I decided to kind of copy that a little bit. And the space, I thought it'd be really cool to make the space underneath the house like a crafting space. The pack comes with different alternative ways to get energy. You can see here, I put down some solar panels on the top, and I added a ladder. Ladders got added to base game. And I had to kind of fidget with the ladder a little bit to get it where I wanted it. But you see that I left a little strip in front of the solar panels because they break, and I wanted to make sure that my Sims could get up there and fix them. I hope it's enough. I don't know if one tile is wide enough for them to get up there and do what they have to do, but fingers crossed. So I put the solar panels up at the top. I'm also, right here, these awnings, they didn't really fit. Because you have the door there, I couldn't end up putting them there, but I really like them. I'm gonna have to find another place to use them. Anyway, I'm messing around here trying to come up with a way to do some glass awnings. So here are those columns. They are these steel beam industrial columns, and there's a frieze to match. This is probably one of my favorite build items that came with the pack. They look really, really good, and I can't wait to use them in like a warehouse build. We have some that came with another pack. They're not quite columns. They kind of like stick to the wall, and it's more just for looks, and they don't really sit next to each other, so it looks kind of off, and you have to fiddle with them a lot to get them to look right. So I'm really, really glad we actually got some, formal steel beam columns. I try not to use a whole bunch of them, and I really wanted the underneath to just kind of be open for the most part. These are the windows, so I use these windows from the Moschino, I think that's how you say it, pack. I was originally going to use these so we got these crazy modern big windows with this pack. And at first I was like, wow, those are interesting, and I wasn't sure that I was really ever going to use them, except for maybe like a modern build. But they actually looked really good on the shipping container. At least the one did. I wouldn't go overboard just because they're so like in your face. But that actually worked out really nice where I put it there. And then I just kind of paired it with some other modern modern windows, like I said, the ones from the Moschino pack, and I think the other one is base game. Then I'm gonna work on the yard here, I believe. Yeah, see, I start playing with the terrain. What I did is I just bulldozed the lot, but I didn't bulldoze the terrain. Sometimes there's really neat terrains that we actually don't get that they put in the world. So I wanted to see if that was the case, and it was. Only thing is that I was trying to kind of like blend it a little bit, and it was a little too much, so I ended up undoing it and just kind of leaving it and coming back to it later. I definitely wanted to surround this lot in fencing because it's one of those lots that, you know, before you put a home on it, it probably would have been fenced off. I started with the barbed wire, but decided to go with the one that doesn't have the barbed wire on the top. It looked less angry. I don't know why you'd want barbed wire to try to keep somebody out, you know, unless you had something really valuable in there. Anyway, so these came from the debug catalog. I went ahead and basically you're gonna see me fill in the whole outline here. I left openings kind of on each side so that people can get in and out. And there's not a gate to match it, right? Because it's from debug. So I decided I was just going to put a little post at the end and just leave it open. It actually looks really, really nice. I was kind of playing around here. Oh, with the drains. I love these drains. They look so good. And I thought that they were perfect for here because it is a street, well, a parking lot like next to a street. It was a good add-on for this. These are from Debug as well. I love these. So you saw earlier, I had some down that had the pot at the bottom, and these just got added not too long ago. These are probably my favorite because they look the most natural. You don't have to have that pot, which sometimes doesn't match. Here's gonna be the crafting area. I put in some pipes because I found those in Debug. I was like, I totally have to put these in, and it's going to be next to the not brewing station, fizzy juice making station, whatever, machine. I thought it was perfect, so I went ahead and put them in there. Here I am. I'm just kind of putting down like a lot of different types of plants. At this point, I'm going to start kind of working on the yard a little bit. I always like to do the exterior before I move on to the interior. Sometimes I find that it actually helps inspire how I want to decorate the inside too. I'm here just kind of like placing stuff, and what I do is I'll put everything down and then kind of see what goes together, and I'll slowly start getting rid of stuff. Then I'll move on and start kind of trying to place it in the area there. I was looking at putting some dividers here because I felt like the yard really needed to kind of have like a split. Like you needed to be able to know that this is the yard and, you know, this is the house or the crafting space. So it kind of creates separate areas, but not separate. I took the dividers down, and I'm gonna end up using the pergola. There you go. So it looks really nice, I think. And when you see it up close, it actually looks like it attaches. I filled in the fencing with the plants I had talked about earlier, but it was just kind of all the same color. I decided to go and find these plants actually are wall decorations. And so I had move objects on, and I kind of started placing them, and I think it turned out really nice, actually. I wasn't anticipating that. I was just kind of playing around, throwing stuff in there to see what would work, and it did. And it ended up looking really nice. I really like this plant, I don't know, vertical planter that already has the plants in it. I just wish we would have gotten maybe some other variations. Because when you try to put them like side by side, it's just repetitive and it doesn't look right. I don't know that I'm going to be using that like side by side at all for that reason. And then there was one point where I tried to put them next to the vertical planters, and for some reason they're slightly different. So I just kind of left it alone and said forget it. I'm putting down all my little crafting benches and that I'm gonna keep in that area. And I think I'm gonna move on to the borders here. I don't know, I'm kind of playing around with the plants. Plants are like my favorite thing, so I might be out there messing with them for a while. That vine there inside the frame, yeah, that I just put down, this is way too big. I don't keep it that way, but those actually are really, really nice. If you look up close, it's the detail on them is nice. Sometimes when you look in close on the plants, they're kind of fuzzy. These aren't. I don't know, and it was just a really cool decoration to kind of have a green wall. There's several options for that. There's this one, there's one that actually attaches to the wall. So there's a couple options for you if you need them. And I put that awning up. I was dying to use that awning. It's just a really different design than what we have, and it's for sure a little bit modern, right? So I tried to put that somewhere, and there's no window above it, but hey, whatever, or below it, whatever, it looks good. Nobody's gonna pay attention to that. I found these shrubs. When I put the pergola down, it was kind of just too open. I felt like you could see too many posts, and I was like, okay, I have to cover that. These are from a different pack, but they worked out perfect here, and I just kind of doubled up on them to cover some of those posts. And it actually created like this little breezeway that really did a good job of, you know, doing what I wanted it to do, which was separate the areas. And I put these plants down. I really like this plant. I just could not find a place to put it. Okay, so I'm moving back to the garden here. I really like that that planter. It's something that you can get from what is it called? The fabricator or something like that. You basically have to have a certain skill, and then you can create stuff in it. And those planters are actually one of those things that comes with it. Or an option to make it. This part, so I talked about how I wanted to leave the terrain, right? And then when I got to the space underneath, it was a little bit more difficult because I wanted to kind of leave it so it looked like cracked concrete or whatever. And the other terrains just didn't go too well, so I ended up just going with the gravel. It looks all right. And then I kind of went over it lightly with that broken kind of stone terrain, and it, like I said, it looked okay. I really wish we had more like concrete or like a cracked concrete terrain would be really nice. Then I kind of just went around and I touched up some of the areas of the terrain, but again, I wanted to kind of keep it what it was, so I'm literally just touching it up. I'm not adding anything any design or terrain that wasn't there already. Organizing my crafting area. I really wanted to line this out with like fencing, and you'll see later. I kind of struggled with it because I couldn't figure out exactly which one I wanted to put up. Here's the garden area. All the planters are containers because I'm thinking of the lot, right? It's a bunch of old, you know, concrete. Nobody's gonna want to dig that up. It's gonna be easier to plant in planters. I went ahead and filled the whole area in with the big planters, and then kind of put the vertical planters in between. This plant here we got with the pack, the one I was just messing with, and I really, really like it, but I wish we had a mirror version, because when I put them back to back, you see that? They're kind of off. So, you know, I don't know. It works, but it would have been nice if it was symmetrical. I ended up putting in those, I think they're hydroponic planters, because they just were really, they had this, see on the side, it's got this modern design, and it just kind of matched with the lot better. Put my bee box in, and now I'm putting the crafting sale table. It's cool that we got another version of this, because we have one of these in, what was it, City Living. And this one's a little bit more eco-modern, I guess. It looks like it was put together, like cut out and put together, like some of the other furniture items. I wanted to make sure that, you know, my Sims had something on this lot. The container that kind of acts like the foundation of the other floors. I ended up turning that into a utility room. So there's like the water condenser or whatever in there. And then there's also, I put those generators in. These are really cool. If you haven't seen them, they are bug houses, and there's actual bugs that you can farm in there. You have to take care of them and everything, and you can use them for food. You can use them for the generator as like biofuel. So I figured I'd put some in since the utility room was there with the generators, and then kind of put these like pine needle texture or terrain underneath it. You can see here, okay, so see those fences? I love those fences in the background. I use them to kind of wall off the area, but I did not know, and you will see this later in the video, I think, that the top of those fences actually goes through the floor. If you want to use those fences, you cannot use them under a floor because you're not going to be able to decorate. It's gonna look awful. I ended up having to pull them down. I put this furniture in mostly because it was like modern. I really like the lines, so I was kind of trying to follow those modern lines that you saw in the pergola. I wanted it to kind of be seen some more on the outside, so I found some furniture that went with, not with the pack, except for that coffee table came with the pack. I keep I really like the grates underneath it. I don't remember if I kept it or not. I thought that looked cool. No, I didn't keep it, obviously. So, and these chairs, I couldn't find a love seat that matched the chairs, but whatever. It looked good. And then that rug, I don't know, I think that rug's from the pack, I'm not sure. Here I am kind of playing with some other dividers, because even though I liked those there, I think it was like a little too see-through and kind of like all the same color. And then, oh, so this, I found this in the catalog when I was doing something else, and I was like, oh, that would be perfect next to the juice maker, the fizzy juice maker. Looks like it's like all the supplies that you're gonna use for that. And then here I'm kind of playing around with where the generators are, because I just see, you can see it right there. See all the little squares coming up through the floor? That's from the fencing, and that's the right size fencing. So I'm not sure, I don't know, they're gonna have to fix that if people want to use it anywhere near the house. Anyway, I've got the top floor here that I started kind of playing around with. Here's the new wood floor, which is really, really nice. And it comes with some pretty good colors. For the walls, we got a lot of new walls too, like this one here. I ended up not going with the wood walls on the inside of the container homes though. Or rooms, I guess, because I was thinking, okay, if it's metal, it's probably gonna be like, it'd probably be easier to do like stucco or cement walls or something like that. So I ended up going with that, but there are some other really cool options that I'm definitely gonna use in the future with some other builds. I'm here just deciding what I'm gonna do. I think I did end up going with that kind of cream color concrete wall. I end up looking good, and it gives you lots of options to like decorate. Yeah, see, I just realized that it was coming up through the floor there, and I removed it. And then when I removed it, I went with the policing fence. This one was okay where it's got the slats, but the barbed wire came through the floor as well. I went with these instead, and because it was like really see-through, I was feeling the similar thing with the wooden one that I put in originally. It's just too open. We need to like separate the spaces there. So I ended up using those same plants I used for the breezeway around the edge where it kind of mattered. The other side's open. It didn't really need it. There's no like sitting areas or anything over there, so I just left it. And then I put that windmill in. I don't know how much power one windmill is going to give you. And then I realized while I was up here that there was no way to get to the third floor. So I shifted around my solar panels and moved my ladder and ended up putting the stairs on the backside, which it worked out actually because it looked really good there. I didn't have to move around anything really big to put it in. And I included a front and back patio, and then a patio on the top too. The topmost floor, I just left it empty for, you know, anybody who downloads it. You guys can just kind of figure out what you want to do with it. I've got the main spaces on the second floor, and it's fleshed out enough for you to use it. And it was really, really hard decorating in such a small space. I think Tiny Living kind of prepped me a little bit for this, but I wanted to use like a lot of the new items, and they're very, very big. And it was a lot. And then you go, ooh, this floor is great. This new floor, it's like a hexagon, and it comes with a bunch of colors, hexagon tile. I loved it. So you see me kind of playing around with the doors. So the door issue. There are great sliding doors that come with this pack. They are beautiful, but they're huge. I couldn't fit them in this build. I mean, obviously, these rooms are tiny. And I was looking around, and they have some single tile and double tile doors, but unfortunately, the frame to that door juts out really far, and it takes up space in whatever room it's jutting out in, and it doesn't look right. I can see using those on like a super modern build that maybe is like really, really big. I think the windows and the doors kind of would apply to, because they're big, they're bulky, and again, they're modern. So I couldn't use them here in this space. I ended up using some other doors, but it worked out. So you saw me, I kind of put the kitchen together, and I think I kind of messed around with it a little bit more later. I wanted to have the dining room in next to the kitchen. That didn't work out. There just wasn't enough space. And I really wanted a vertical planter like in the kitchen space, so you could like grow herbs and you can use that in your kitchen. You know, that idea anyway. But it just didn't work out. I love these new beds. Look at the textures. I mean, I feel like that's what we need more in the game, is more textures, and lately we've been getting that. And even the headboard, it's got like this woven pattern that looks really nice. These wall shelves came with the new pack too. It's one wall shelf, and then here it's like a standing shelf, and it's got like a wrought iron frame, and then really pretty wood shelves. The colors that they picked are really nice. I think I'll be able to use them in a lot of different, like with a lot of different styles. And here I am trying to fit a side table or end table in a container with a double bed. It's kind of impossible to have two. You can see here, you can make one work. And these plants, I really like these plants too. I love all the plants, okay? Let's be real. I love plants. We all know that. But I was kind of frustrated with these because, like a few of the other plants that we have, they get really, really dark indoors. So I ended up not using them. It just was not worth it. It didn't look good. I put them outside, and you can see their colors nicely out there. I really like that little tray with the cups and the bottle. Oh, I don't know what that is. Wine, water, seltzer, who knows. I kind of wanted to put that next to the bed, but it wouldn't fit either, so I'm like, whatever, we'll just put plants, potted plants. That wall hanging is really cool too. You could totally like stack those and put them together. Pretty cool. And something I didn't mention, which I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you guys don't know, there's a new system. So you have new bills. Your bills work differently. Everything is actually kind of separated out, your water and your electric and stuff like that. And then we have a lot of items that now have like an environment score kind of. It could be either something that contributes to your industrial score or your green score. And if you have a high industrial score, everything's kind of brown in your neighborhood, and it's supposed to be ugly, and, well, not ugly, you know, just sick because there's smog. And there actually is smog at some point if it's industrial. If it's green, things start turning green. You get this beautiful sun rays. So when you're designing these, you're supposed to take that into consideration, because how you build your home will directly affect the environment in your neighborhood. Unfortunately, it feels like it's really, really easy to make your neighborhood green and really hard to make it industrial and polluted. I'm gonna play around with that a little more and see, but I don't know. Again, I've been building. I got in here and I totally just started building and haven't really played a lot yet, but I'll get there. I ended up loving the way that the kitchen turned out, and then I think I had to remove the plant because of the way that the door frame came in. These new bathroom objects, I love them. I know that some people don't like them. It's probably like you either like it or you love it. And I love it. I don't know what it is about the little sections of glass in the tub and the sink and stuff. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And you saw too the wall, dang it, what are they called? It's like just a wall hanging with the plants kind of attached to it. I filled the bathroom with those. Those looked good. I wish we had a mirrored version, like the other plant that we got. Something to where you can kind of change it up a little bit. This is a fireplace. I thought it was like a stove or something. Maybe that was just wishful thinking. But it's a fireplace, and it looks kind of like old school. I like it a lot. These chairs are the ones that you can fabricate, and they were really the best to fit the space. The good thing about most of the stuff you can fabricate, it is kind of smaller, so you could probably fit it anywhere. I didn't have enough room for like a full living room, so I decided to put in a like sitting area in front of the fireplace for people to kind of like hang out in. And that's why I ended up having to remove that vertical planter. And these curtains are great. These came with the pack too. They're just like these city living curtains. And they have some more colors and patterns with them. I don't know if they're exactly the same. I'll have to actually check that out, but they work well. And then I had to remove that plant. Although it looked really, really good, I had to move it. Yeah. I don't know. Those are the island living counters and cabinets. They worked really nice with this build. Here I am kind of messing. I finally found something for the wall. It wasn't from this pack, unfortunately. I was trying really hard to make one of the ones that came with the pack work, but the other one ended up looking all right. And here I am trying to find a dresser that will fit this tiny, tiny room. I ended up going with the garment rack. I really wanted to use the one from this pack. It's kind of cool. It's got like little blocks that are different wood, almost like it was recycled and kind of like put together in pieces. But it was entirely too big for that space. Most of them are, actually, now that I think about it. So this space, I was like, oh, we need the tiny living rug there. And it looked really, really good. It even had, I forgot it had that orange version, which kind of goes with everything else. So this back patio has the best views out of the whole lot. And I really wanted to make it like a lounge area. So I ended up putting in some lounge chairs. You can see here I put in like a little dining table with the umbrella. And then I ended up using the same dining chairs that I used on the bottom floor because they had those modern lines that I wanted to kind of keep with. Because this has the best view, I really wanted, like, say that your sim goes here and you want to take a picture of them, you know, eating breakfast on the patio. I wanted the view to be unobstructed because I ended up putting some plants up there because it was green and it looked really pretty, but I had to pull them down because they blocked the view and really kind of ruined the whole purpose of having a patio on that side facing the water. So the back patio here, I put in an awning there using those glass floor tiles. I think they're from Island Living. And then I had this extra weird space that I tried to use the green roof with, but I ended up going back to the shipping container roof. And if you hadn't heard, there's actually green roofs, and they added a corrugated roof that has an industrial rating. So the green roof has a green rating. Now, I really like the idea of having the green roof. I couldn't make it work with this build because they're shipping containers. I'm sure you could put, like, I don't know, put it on the very, very top, but I had my solar panels up there, and I don't know. It just didn't feel like it really went with this. So I'm definitely going to use it on a different build. I really want to do like a whole green roof, maybe even add some like decorative plants to kind of really make it like pop and be noticeable, but another time. And this patio, this is, I guess this is technically the front patio. This was the worst part of the build for me. It took me forever to get it done. I just could not figure out how I wanted to organize the furniture and the deco and stuff like that. And you're gonna see me probably fidget with it here for a minute, which is what I do sometimes. A little OCD. That tree on the right there in the pot is probably my favorite plant from the entire pack. It's really cool. It's like built out of wood that sits on a pallet, and some of the wood is actually worn and it looks old. It looks recycled. I love it. Well, I hope you enjoyed my first speed build. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, and if you want to download this lot, there's going to be some links in the description below. You can go grab them from there, and look for another speed build soon. I have one, maybe two more lots that I want to do based around eco lifestyle. Thanks for watching.